Welcome to this video tutorial. Let's dive right in with where to find the iPad. It should be in the camera bag, which is in the back of the finance office. If it's not there, check by the soundboard or over by the usher's bench. On the back of the bag is a flap with 2 zippers. Since the camera is also behind this flap, you should only open it with the bag laying down to be careful that the camera doesn't fall out. Inside the flap, you'll find the iPad, charger, and charging cable. You'll want to plug it in right away since it's been sitting for like a week. Next, we'll talk about setting up the iPad for Sling Studio. Sling Studio is the application that's being used to broadcast to Facebook Live and Zoom. I'm presenting this material with the assumption that you aren't the person also setting up the cameras, though you might be. Once you've plugged in and turned on the iPad, you're going to put in the password George, capital G. After that, you just need to wait for the light on the Sling Hub to turn solid blue. Once it's turned solid blue, you're ready to open the Sling app. When you first open the app, it's going to prompt you to connect to the Sling Hub network. Here's what you should see once Sling Studio is up and running, assuming the camera links are connected. Before you can proceed, you'll need to select a project. You're going to select the default project at the top of the iPad screen. Now you should have a screen that looks like this, with all of your camera angles visible and selectable. Unfortunately, it's not always that simple. Next, I'm going to show you how to resolve the most common issue I've encountered when setting up the Sling Studio app. You may find that not all of your camera angles are visible. The most common culprit for this is that the camera link did not connect to the Sling Hub. Once you've verified that the camera is on, then it's time to check the Sling camera link. If the power light is flashing red like this, then you know you've got a problem. But fear not. Just go to the Sling settings, then click on My Camera Links, and then press the button to search for your missing camera link. Then just let it do its thing. This can take up to 2 minutes, but it's typically done in seconds. Once done, the camera will appear with the list of other camera links. And now you can close the Settings tab. If 2 or more of your camera links are missing, it might be easier to just turn everything off, that's the Sling Hub and all the camera links, and start over and make sure that you turn everything back on in the right order. So first, turning on the Sling Hub and making sure the power light turns solid blue. Then you can start turning on your camera links and make sure that their power lights are solid white. Then you should be good to go. Here's a quick recap of all the steps to set up the iPad for Sling Studio. Now that you're good and scared, let's talk about operating the Sling Studio app, starting with some of its basic features. As I alluded to before, on the left of your screen are all of your camera angles. They'll be arranged in the order that the camera links were connected to the Sling Hub. Notice here how one of the camera angles has an orange border. That's how you know that's the active camera angle, or the one that's being seen by people on Zoom. It's also the camera angle that will appear in the program window. Above that, we have the preview window. That'll help you set up your next shot. In the middle here, we've got the preview to program button. This allows you to switch the preview to the program screen and vice versa. Here's a quick recap of all the basic features. Next, I'm going to show you what it looks like to run this app live. In the top left-hand corner, you're going to have a view of what's happening with the iPad. And in the bottom right-hand corner, you're going to have a view of what the Zoom people will see. You can click once on an angle to move it to the preview window. Before an angle is selected to be active, the Zoom feed will see this quadrant view of all the angles. Pressing the Preview to Program button will make that angle go active, or otherwise will be seen by the people on Zoom. But what if you're in a hurry? Double-clicking on an angle will move it directly to the program window and make it active. Gentle but deliberate taps work best. You can also tap, hold, and drag an angle from anywhere into the program window. This technique doesn't work for moving things to the preview window, unfortunately. Aside from capturing all the action, one of your main goals is making sure the Zoom viewers don't see the main camera moving around from shot to shot. So when the main camera is moving to the next shot, select an appropriate transitional angle. It'll help to coordinate with the main camera operator, unless you're doing both jobs. Once the main camera is centered and the shot is holding steady, you'll switch back to the main camera angle. In this case, by pressing the Preview to Program button. Let's look at another example, going from the podium to the choir stand. Again, you'll select an appropriate transitional angle before the camera needs to move. Once the main camera is settled, switch back to the main camera angle. In this case, by simply double-clicking on the main camera angle to switch it back to the program window. Here's a few more examples just to help you get the hang of it. In essence, your main job is, when the main camera needs to move, preemptively selecting a transitional angle, waiting for the main camera to get settled on the next shot, and then switching back to the main camera angle however you like to. And that's basically it. Here's a quick recap of the last section of the video. Lastly, I just want to offer a few quick tips and some friendly advice. Yes, you are very much like a director for this Zoom movie that we're putting on every Sunday. Do not go power mad. If it's taking a long time for the main camera to move to the next shot, feel free to use multiple transitional angles. However, err on the side of caution. Less is more, and don't do too many quick cuts. The people on Zoom love to see the congregation's faces, but not if they look bored or checked out. Sometimes your transitional angles are your best shot. That may be because the main camera operator isn't paying attention, or it might just be that people are standing in the way and they can't get the shot from where they are, in which case you'll just want to pick another angle to see the action that's happening in the church. Speaking of getting the best shot, there's an app that lets you use your iPhone with the Sling Studio. I'll explain that more in the camera setup tutorial video. I generally start and end service with the angle that looks at the pulpit from the mid-right side of the church. I know you want to get your praise on, but you gotta pay attention the whole time. I'd give yourself about an hour for setting up and troubleshooting. About every third time, something goes wrong. Even if you don't plan on being the camera operator or the person that sets up the cameras, I recommend watching the other tutorials to get a feel for how everything works together. Remember to close the Sling Studio app and turn off the iPad so that it's not 0% battery come next Sunday. It takes about 15 minutes for it to get charged enough to turn back on. Lastly, please, 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 put everything back where you got it. Thank you very much. Well, that concludes this video tutorial. I want to thank you again for volunteering to help out the tech ministry on Sunday service by operating the iPad. Make sure you refresh with this video before it's your turn. If you have any questions, please contact me at millmaxey@yahoo.com. And check out the other video tutorials to see if there's another way that you might prefer to help out. Thanks again, and take care.
Get out of town. I didn't know you did anything creative.